But what is next for the pro-life movement? We saw the annual March for Life in Washington, D.C. at the end of January, the first one since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade last year. What are the goals of the movement now? To discuss, we spoke to Jason Jones, president and founder of the Vulnerable People Project. Here's a look at our fascinating discussion. Jason Jones, thank you so much for joining us.
It's a privilege to be with you.
Jason, if you could just give us an idea, what is the current state and the trajectory of the pro-life movement post-Roe?
Well, the pro-life movement is clearly the largest, most passionate and diverse social movement in the history of the United States. And it had ordered itself towards overturning Roe versus Wade since Roe. And with Dobbs now, it's looking for a new direction. But it's more diverse than ever. And some of the enthusiasm, I'm a traditional pro-life advocate, I'm a conservative Catholic. But the most passionate energy now is coming from the left. And this is going to be very disruptive to the Democrat Party. So it's going to have to retool. We're going to have to move to the states as we march to protecting life from biological beginning from Maine to Maui. But my prediction is in the next 10 years, finally, for the first time since our founding, without contradiction, we will live out the true meaning of the Declaration principle of defending life in this country.
If you could just give us a little bit of a background as to when and why you got involved in the pro-life movement.
Yeah, I started in the pro-life movement the way most people do. I was ambushed by abortion. I was 17 years old. I was in basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia. It was a Sunday morning, and I had pots and pans detail. I was in the kitchen doing KP detail, and a friend came running in and said, "Your girlfriend's on the phone and she's crying." And I ran out and answered the phone. And her father, she was hiding the pregnancy from her father, but he found out. And we were going to tell him when I got back from basic training, which would be it was going to be in 2 weeks from when I got this call. But her father found out, and he beat her up, and he dragged her to get a forced third trimester abortion. My mother had me at 16. I didn't grow up going to any church. I'd never been to church a day in my life. I knew nothing about politics. It was before 24-hour news cycles, and it was before the internet. I did not know that in our country you could destroy a child in the womb until I found out that my child had been destroyed. And so for me, that was startling. And from that day on, I had sort of just been addled by the idea that children are exposed to violence without legal protection.
Now, the Supreme Court's investigation into the leaked draft opinion that caused quite a stir throughout the country came up short on finding out who exactly leaked that. What are your thoughts?
I mean, my thoughts are that did they come up short? Are they going to come up short on all these documents that we're finding all over Biden residences that are accessible to foreign agents? There's a two-tiered system. We have a dimini status as conservatives in this country, and it's startling, and I hope with the new House there are going to be investigations. It's clear, that justice holding the scales is peeking behind that blindfold, and I think we need to pull that blindfold down.
Do you have any suspicion as to who it might have been?
I don't.
Okay, fair enough. I just want to switch gears. You did just touch upon the CCP. You're also involved in not just the pro-life movement, but a lot of human rights work, specifically when it comes to China. Tell us about this.
Yeah, our organization, the Vulnerable People Project, works to protect the vulnerable from the child in the womb to children in East Turkestan and Xinjiang their fathers are in concentration camps and they're being brutalized. We work around the world. Right now, the CCP has 7 Catholic bishops who have been disappeared. They've been sent to black prison sites. These bishops have been disappeared and sent to prison for doing such horrible and menacing things like providing children with education, caring for disabled children, and it's really a scandal. And it's also been scandalous that as a Catholic, our Pope and our bishops and the USCCB and the hierarchy of the churches has really been silent to the crimes of the CCP. And as I said, that Roe versus Wade was a pillar of the culture of death. The CCP is really a menace. It's a menace not just in China. The first victims of the CCP are the people of China, followed by the people of Tibet, the people of Xinjiang, and now Taiwan is being harassed, Hong Kong is being trashed, and the CCP is threatening our church around the world. It has corrupted our bishops with this secret deal We don't know what the terms of the deal are between the Vatican and the CCP, but clearly one of the terms is silence on its abuses, not just of Catholics, but of Muslims like the Uyghur. And so our organization was founded, I founded it over 20 years ago to advocate for the most vulnerable people in the world, to harness really the power of the pro-life movement in the United States and to direct it to other issues that are like and commensurate to abortion, issues like genocide and democide. And the CCP has been the greatest. It is more responsible for more deaths than any regime in world history. You can think of the famine, the Cultural Revolution, the one-child policy. We still have forced abortions across China, the abuses in Tibet and Xinjiang. And so defeating the CCP, to me, is really an important next step as we try to move our world toward a culture of life to leave to our posterity.
Jason Jones, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And that is all we have for you on the Capitol Report this evening.